Hey y'all, welcome to episode 2 of Being an Educator Almost Broke Me. Are you ready? In my previous video, I talked a little bit about, how many educators, they end up crying like in silence, sitting in their cars. Well, I was the one who would sit in the car after work. So I would come home, I would have on, my music. It would be either gospel, maybe something instrumental. And I would sit there in the parking lot, emotionally and physically drained. And I would just sit there and stare off, unable to move. I don't know if you've ever been there, but I couldn't move a bit. Exhausted. Just tired. Was it tired of the kids? Nope. It was tired of the emotional drain, the continuous harassment. You see, when I transitioned from being a teacher and moved into an administrative position, I moved with the mindset of being able to affect change or impact change on a larger scale, right? I wanted to be able to support teachers who were new to the profession, who needed that additional guidance. I wanted to be able to support those teachers and make sure that they were ready and capable of developing our students. Well, this guy over here, next week, he's going to be able to tell you a little bit about the impact that it started having on me. You see, no one, and I mean absolutely no one, warned me about the harassment that administrators can go through. Teachers, I know that you all suffer because I've seen it. Firsthand, I've seen it. I've seen the pressure. I've seen the stress. But administrators suffer too. Many times, your administrators serve as like a protective umbrella. So many times, they're getting beat down. You know how an umbrella takes all the raindrops, and if it happens to be hailing outside and you happen to be standing outside in the element, it's going to protect you from or shield you from the elements, right? Well, many times your administrators serve as that protective element. I know what you're saying to yourself, or I know the question that you're asking yourself. Do administrators actually get bullied by other administrators? Ask an administrator. Yes, they do. They do, very much so. So let me take you back to the administrator that I briefly spoke about in episode 1. I remember let me go back. So I worked with this particular administrator on 2 different occasions. One was when this person was my direct supervisor, and then the second occasion was when this person was the direct supervisor over my direct administrator. Okay? And this is without me, giving up titles and things like that. As I stated before, this is not a platform where I'm trying to air anyone's dirty laundry, but I'm really trying to just give you the experience that I've gone through with the harassment. So I'll never forget, the administrative team was asked to create several items. So my administrator divvied up the tasks Um, Mine ended up being like an action plan for teachers. So I developed this action plan that our school was going to use just to support teachers who were struggling, to help them improve their instructional delivery, um, and to be able to process the academic content a little better. Well, I created the action plan with all the critical components that were needed. Um, our admin team looked at it. Everybody was on board with it. And so then the next thing, we were supposed to complete an exemplar for our different teachers. So I created mine. Everybody else created theirs. We all turned it in. Well, I received an email. It was sometime maybe 8 something at night, basically stating that my action plan seemed like just a compliance piece, that it appeared that I hadn't put much thought into it, and this is how it should have been answered. Now, mind you, I don't think this individual realized that I was the one who created the action plan. Do you hear me? I was the one who determined the criterion that would be on there, worked with the administrative team, showed them the format, everything. I did that. So let me just say that this was not my first encounter that particular academic school year with that particular administrator. There was another encounter where I was pulled in by my principal, who basically told me that the admin was considering having me transferred to another school. Do you want to know why? Because I didn't come in during my summer break. Now, during that time, I was actually working on my PhD. And so I had already had a conversation with my previous principal because I neglected my studies to support the school and help the school achieve academically. Well, not knowing that, my principal, the person decided not to come back, and I understood completely why. And so all of a sudden, a whole bunch of new administrators were onboarded, and just created a different dynamic. But as a PhD student with the timeline nearing, I had to really decide, okay, are you going to neglect your PhD again? Or are you going to go ahead and press forward and use that summertime that you have and get your doctoral studies completed? I decided to use the summertime that I had. And I became laser focused on completing my pre-dissertation work so that way I could get ready to stand before a committee. Because I was not willing to sacrifice my studies and come back in earlier than my vacation time dictated, I was being considered for a transfer. Does it make sense to you? But these are the shenanigans that I'm talking about. These are the very shenanigans that many educators go through. It's really time out for making educators feel like they can't lead their personal lives and enjoy their times, time that they have with their family, and tackle their personal goals and still be an educator. We are not on the clock 24 hours a day, nor should we be expected to be on the clock. Can you imagine what would happen to educators if we never took a break, or we never took time to recharge, or we never took time to actually go through and do the things that we want to add on to our repertoire. These are the very reasons why many of your education friends are walking around broken. When you have a moment, take time and check on your educators because they need you. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Therapy Drop. Be blessed.